Well, here we go then. The final hurrah of the 2025 Roger Albert Clark Rally. This is the bigger one. The final stage, that 40 miles reduced to 37.5. Still a monster. R.A.C. Rally Live is brought to you by Viking Motorsport. And I am joined down here at the finish by Matt Cotton and Bex Hinton, as well as some of our camera team. We have 2 cameras out on the stage plus a drone, so we should be able to give you some view. Well, we will be able to give you some view of the action. Ben Friend, Cliffy Simmons, the big news coming into this stage, stuck by the side of the stage, unable to continue. Absolutely, bitterly disappointed at this late stage. There he is then, our rally leader, R.A.C. Price, Dale Furness alongside. Picking their way through this stage would be the best way to describe what I think will be the approach. It is a 2-minute 26 lead at this stage for Oshan and Dale. Look at those drone shots through Kielder Forest. Killer Kielder living up to its name, as always, here on the final day of the Roger Albert Clark Rally. The dark skies looming with thunderous clouds. We've had biblical rain down here in the lead up to this final stage, and those clouds are rolling in, aren't they? By the time we finish here, it will be dark and the spotlights are already on the cars further down the entry. But there is the man who has climbed that leaderboard throughout the last 5 days. Paul Barrett, Gordon Noble coming into this final stage, second place. And with 2 minutes 26 to find even through 37.5 miles, they will know that only luck can change what's happening in front of them. Of course, they, as everybody else, have to make it through this final stage. The mileage of your average single day event, a BTRDA rounder, most BRC rounds, not making it much over this in terms of mileage. The gap to look for in the top 10 leaderboard is the gap between Greg McKnight and Harry Marchbank, Matt Edwards and Sean Williams. The open category leader, Greg, who you see on the screen right now, 50 seconds ahead of Matt Edwards. Is something like 1.4 seconds a mile that the 3-time British rally champion needs to make up. And the Scottish leader of the open category rally in order to take that podium position. And you can bet that Matt Edwards will be using every bit of his experience and the speed that is shown this week. Hasn't had the best of luck, but has battled on and has, at every point we've spoken to him, had fighting talk and been absolutely digging as deep as he can. And he's got to dig deeper than ever on this final stage, but that will be the battle to watch, and we're all watching with bated breath, actually. Mark Higgins and Carl Williams from slipping down the order in the David Appleby Engineering TR7 V8, just getting stuck in that first stage of this morning Shepherd's Shield. And drama when Martin McCormack and Barney Mitchell retired in the second stage. Pundershaw, the 14-mile stage, following Shepherd's Shield, the gearbox on the E30 BMW M3 calling game over. Devrig James, Emir Jones have had one heck of a rally, currently lying 5th place on the leaderboard going into this final stage. Just to give you an idea, by the way, of how much Matt Edwards is pushing the last stage. Hope House, a shade over 8 miles long. Edwards was fastest by 4 seconds. But to give you an idea of how much Greg McKnight is not lying down without a fight, he was second fastest, only 4 seconds back. Adrian Hetherington putting a late statement in. And there you see Matt Edwards, the 3-time British Rally champion in the Car Prep Mark II. I know a lot of you are tuning in service back in Kielder, some of you at the airport in Carlisle, the scene of the ceremonial finish, albeit we will be celebrating when the cars come through this archway at the end of this final stage. And hello to you, and a big well done to all of the teams who have battled through the last 5 days. Gearboxes, engines, axles, even full cars, chassis and bodies being rebuilt and patched together over the last 5 days to get them through the 300 miles of the 2025 Roger Albert Clark Rally. The numbers do the talking for you, and I can't say them enough. 5 days, 300 stage miles, 1,000 road miles, 3 countries, 190 competitors. And there's a man who has been one of the class acts of the field this weekend, and nothing seems to have faced him. Dan Mennel, who was 9th fastest through the Hope House stage. Didn't get things quite hooked up in there, but he said to me at the end of Pundershaw, I'm going to give this a big push. I'm going to enjoy the last few stages of this epic rally. Dan Mennel, John Roberts, 6th overall. Mark Higgins and Carl Williamson only 58 seconds back as well, so Dan can't relax through this final 37.5 mile stage. Normal rules do not apply through here, so for any talk of overhauling positions and gaining time out of your mind from a normal rally format, this is one rally in one stage mileage wise. And there is the thumping, great barking V8, that TR7 V8, the David Appleby engineering team, missing its front bumper, a few battle scars from earlier today, making its final barks through the Kielder forests this afternoon. No Monday rally blues, unless you're Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons or Martin McCormack and Barney Mitchell, of course. But those Tuesday blues are going to hit hard. One final R.A.C. rally report show for you this evening, and we'll be sharing some of your memories so far this week of the R.A.C. rally. Matt and Bex will bring you more reaction when we get to the finish as well. And in a little while, we will have our cruise through to the finish arch here at the end of the bigger one, the final 37.5 mile stage. 2 camera positions in this stage, so we will do our best to track who's gone through both cameras, and easier for the top few, I suppose. And it'll get pretty busy down here, as you see James Ford and Neil Shanks, who have had the pace today, but unfortunately with a bit of a tumultuous week in all 3 of the countries, really, Wales, Scotland and England. They currently lie in 12th place on a bit of a fight back, it has to be said. The fan favourite Volvo 262 of Arnie Radstrom, 9th place overall coming into this final stage. And I know he's in the middle of filming a reel, which you will see on the Roger Albert Clark socials, but Matt Cotton, what a week. There's no other question to put to you, really.
Just when we think the Roger Albert Clark rally couldn't deliver any more, here we are. Look, it's been one of those weeks, 5 days, and this final sting in the tail. I mean, what can you say? Mark Higgins, obviously, you know, this morning shows just exactly what's possible on the final day. And here we are with a 37-odd miler to round out 300 miles of rally.
Talk about the sting in the tail. It's not just this final stage, is it? We've had Ben Friend and Cliffy Simmons on the penultimate stage, beached at the side of the stage. We've also had before that Martin McCormack and Barney Mitchell. That was like the Stratos moment from 2023.
Oh, who could forget that? I know. And here we are, you know, exactly the same position as we were, you know, 2 years ago. It just never ceases to amaze me, this rally, from the organisation part of it and the journey and the adventure that everybody goes on. We all live it together, and that's the sort of scarily romantic thing about it all. It's just one big love-in of rallying in this country and beyond. You know, we have people from all over the world joining us this weekend. There is genuinely nothing like this in the world, I promise you.
No. What Colin Heppenstall and his team have done very cleverly over the years is piece together and extract bits of the original R.A.C. which inspired this event and brought them back here to 2025, and we have absolutely loved going back in time. Me particularly, it's a good excuse to dress up. My wife, I was saying to Matt Cotton, my wife doesn't like me doing it at home that often, dressing up in retro rally gear, so I do it here. on the Roger Robert Clark instead. But anyway, back to the action. It's a message from one of our camera team that James Ford's car smells heavily of clutch. So could 37.5 miles flat out through the final stage of the Roger Robert Clark Rally be the final straw for that Viking Motorsport built Mark II, which has had a heck of a week. Most of the Viking Motorsport cars have had a heck of a week, and we've enjoyed telling you the story of the Viking team rebuilding, particularly Robert Goff's car. What a moment that was. But here's a man who I think has captured some hearts and some souls this week on the Roger Robert Clark Rally. I know there's a lot of people talking about Arnie Rudstrom, because there is something about that Swedish team and that Volvo 262, isn't there, that has captured our imagination. We have loved having him in the fight, and I also love how bold he was about his intentions for the weekend and how expertly he has executed and come good on that bold statement from Wednesday at Scrutineering. So we'll start to get a feel soon as we keep an eye on our second camera's position for who's managing things well and where the times are on this final stage. There are a lot of car prep jackets and overalls here at the finish ramp. It is getting busy down here. We have officials, we have every bit of media that isn't currently in the stage. We've got, I think you can look around, you see Sherwood Engines, you can see just about every rally team here at the finish, waiting for the moment when, well, I was going to say the moment when Ocean Price and Dale Furness come through that finish arch. We think, don't we, that it will be Ocean Price and Dale Furness coming through that finish arch first, but anything can happen over the next few minutes and then some. If you are just tuned in, you are in for a treat. The final stage of the 2025 Roger Albert Clark Rally is here. It is the bigger one. It picks up from the big one last year. 35 miles last year to finish things off. We aimed for 40 miles this year due to circumstances outside of our control. Mid-stage there will be 37.5 miles when all told. But the management and the prep for this stage is quite something to behold. Matt Cotton just said it, there's nothing else like this in the world. And this team particularly, Johan Evans and Gareth Parry have been looking forward to this. I saw some posts on social media earlier. There is a huge fan contingent out in the forests for this afternoon as well. And quite a lot of the drivers were mentioning that as they were coming through the stages. Even, you know, drivers who are used to seeing fans lining the stages, like Max Smart, who's used to the WRC, just bowled over by how many fans are lining these stages and have done since the first two legs of this year's Roger Albert Clark in Wales on Thursday and Friday. Wow, does that seem a long time off now. The saddest part of this afternoon, if there are sad parts of the afternoon for me, is that we won't have the bark of the BMW M3, nor will we have the scream and the howl of the Lancia Stratos. It's the 2010 Roger Albert Clark winner Stefan Stoof makes his way through, the last man to win the Roger Albert Clark in a historic Mark I Escort. He did it in the snow and the ice, but the snow and the ice were not his favourite parts of this week. He could not get on with Saturday. Rick Carton, everybody's nemesis, apart from the odd few who quite enjoyed themselves skidding around in the snow and the ice. We will stay live with you as the top three at least come through the finish arch here, and we will get live reaction. Apologies in advance, there will be some emotion here, whatever happens, however it turns out, whether it turns out exactly as it is on the leaderboard now, or things dramatically take a shift. There will be emotion down here at the finish, so just a slight word of caution. And I must also say that due to the results this week and due to so many changes it will take some time for the organisers to make those results final. So everything we talk about today, all the results we talk about at the finish, will be provisional. Important to note that it has been a busy week for the rally organisers, and they just want to make sure that nothing that gets finalised is open to any question. So all results provisional here on the final day of the Roger Albert Clark Rally. Have we had any of the cars past our second camera location? Not yet. Be any minute now, so this will be the telling sign, won't it? We haven't got the actual exact markers. We should have thought about that, shouldn't we? Had exact markers. In fact, we were rushing from the last live stages we were in. We were determined to make today a full live day for you with plenty of action, rather than what would have been easier for us in just putting together the final stage and being ready in position. So we were all rushing from various parts of Kielder to get to our locations for this last stage, but it would have been nice to have the markers so we could work out some times. But we will at least see who is still running past the second camera, and we had plenty of drama last year when people didn't appear on our second camera view. So it is a loosely scientific measurement, isn't it? If you're just tuning in, welcome to R.A.C. Rally Live for the final time before the final R.A.C. Rally Report show this evening. Final time from the stages anyway. Matt and Bex will have some reaction back at the finish in Carlisle. But this is the final stage of this year's R.A.C. Rally. 37.5 miles, shortened slightly from the 40 miles that was scheduled for the bigger one. And there is a man who was a bit of a charge in the last couple of stages today. Adrian Hetherington. It has not been a smooth event for him, though, that is for sure. There are a few names actually currently missing from the live leaderboard from the last stage, so we will be very careful reading us out. But Adrian Hetherington was third fastest through the Hope House stage, a shade over 8 miles before the final service in Kielder, before the crews headed over here for this final stage, with the stages from today all basically bolted together. There we go then, our rally leaders past the second marker point and into our second camera location, Ocean Price and Dale Furness in that Wales Motorsport Mark II, which has served him so well this season. He came out earlier in the season in that car and got as much mileage as he could in the second half of the season, and made clear his intentions to be ready this year for the Roger Albert Clark Rally. He's been the nearly man before. This year, everything has gone into making that a winning campaign. The nerves outside, I know we are staying with the action for now, but there is a fantastic gathering of people at the finish arch here. It's going to be quite the spectacle when those cars come through that ramp, but the nerves down here are tangible. The teams, family members, media all gathered. There's going to be a bit of a scrum around whichever escort ends up on that top step. Ocean Price, Dale Furness have done as much as they can now past us. The camera crew's just searching for cars. Paul Barrett past the second camera location now as well, so our two leading protagonists still in the hunt. No split times, no knowledge of what's going on until we get to the finish. That will be the moment, checking the times, and if things finish as they are now, it'll be Ocean Price still finish into the finish first. It's amazing, isn't it? You can have 5 days of rally action and then it all comes down to this final stage. In many ways, the gap a little bigger than we had in 2023, so perhaps less uncertainty than we've been used to, but there's still a lot of mileage in this final stage and a lot at stake for our crews. To remind you, as we go through and look, the camera crew searching for crews in the woods as our crews go through that second camera location. Ocean Price, Dale Furness lead going into this final stage by 2:26. Paul Barrett, Gordon Noble in second place. Behind them, Greg McKnight and Harry Marchbank. And it's Matt Edwards and Sean Williams chasing the open category leaders down. 50 seconds the gap coming into this last stage. I have got a couple of crew members out there in the forest who are going to just work out some unofficial split times. Just bear in mind that is exactly what they will be. Give us some idea.
Edwards has taken a minute out of it.
Matt Edwards, Sean Williams seemingly on a charge, looking like they've actually caught and passed Deverick James in the stage. And there is the car that captured our imagination on Friday night. Rob Goff, Jack Bowen, after their heavy impact in Wales, the Viking Motorsport team getting the car back to Newtown to their base. As Phil Mills said, it was an uncomfortable feeling unlocking the workshop in the small hours of the morning to rebuild a car, and landed heavily with the team, but they spent all night getting that car rebuilt and missed the loop last night in order to make sure that that car and the crew were ready to give it a big push today, and that is exactly what they're doing. Dan Mennell, the car prep team out here in force. Very pleased to see Dan Mennell past the second location here. Hazy scenes in Kielder Forest today. We've had about 3 or 4 seasons even in one day today in Kielder, and the rain was coming down heavily before this stage, but after the talk about snow and ice earlier in the weekend, as you see, Kev Proctor, Josh Beer in the Sierra Sapphire at Cosworth. Heck of a birthday to spend out here on the Roger Albert Clark Rally, and he will be delighted to be getting through. There is the TR7 V8 with its bumper corner missing from the earlier mishap. The spare wheel now missing from the boot of that TR7 V8, but that has looked a glorious sight, hasn't it, all week. Mark Higgins, Carl Williamson pass our second camera location in this final 37.5 mile bigger one stage, as it has been named. Unlike the previous stages this week, the cars are running in correct seeded order, fastest onwards. No reverse seeding, no historics up front. Rob Barrett in the escort there, doing his second Roger Albert Clark. Super rallied to 48th overall last time out in 2023, so he's doing better here. James Ford, Neil Shankston still going, and still going strong by the looks of things on that second camera location. They smelt heavily of clutch past the first cameras, as noted by our crews. We lost Rhys Yates from the running last night when the escort got beached on a log and they couldn't get the car going. they did manage to recover it and there was no damage done, but they knew they wouldn't be pushing for anything here today in Kielder, so called it a day. No super rally for Rhys Yates and Alex Lee. Mark McCulloch, Michael Hendry there in the Group A Astra GSI, one of the fan favourite cars this year, and a car that has got us all talking. I saw a picture from Carl Sewer, who ironically was not far from our accommodation, with his workshop full of Group A Astras Mark II and Mark III. So we are expecting and looking forward to seeing those out before long. It's been fascinating to speak to the crews during today and just see how many different approaches there are to this final stage of the Roger Albert Clark. Some, like Matt Edwards, have got a lot to fight for still. 50 seconds to make up on Greg McKnight if he wants a podium position. I'll tell you what, Brian Jardine, Declan Campbell are pushing on through here, aren't they? They did get a top 20 overall. Unofficially, very unofficially, it does look like McKnight is 2 up on Ocean Price coming through here. Now that's not going to worry Ocean Price, who will be listening for every single noise and will not be pushing. But it could be crucial for that battle between McKnight and Matt Edwards. McKnight on a big push then. Yeah, you had Matt Edwards, as you see Adam Milner in the Ralloy Cadet coming through the first camera location here. You had people like Matt Edwards saying they were going to go absolutely flat out through here. You had McKnight saying he was going to back it off 5 or 10%. You had Jason Pritchard saying nothing really to fight for, just a bit of luck to hope for in the final stage. So he was going to back off a little bit and not risk anything silly. Different approaches. Oshan was quite tight-lipped. And was visibly nervous actually earlier on when I spoke to him. Clearly this is a big moment for him and he wants to make sure he gets everything right and doesn't overcomplicate things either. Didn't want to talk about stage times, wasn't looking at stage times, and you believe him, don't you, as well, because you often hear that on rallies, but Oshan very definitely will not have been looking at stage times today. The nerves down here at the finish ramp, tangible, and we are only minutes away from getting the first few cars through to the finish, so we're going to go and we're going to get in position. Tell you what, McKnight on a hell of a charge, but I'm not going to read out these unofficial splits that I've got because they don't make a huge amount of sense to me. But Edwards also pushing hard here as we go into the final few miles of the rally. I'm going to pitch up next to Mr. because you know you can go through 300 stage miles, cover 3 countries over 5 days, and Matt, it can come down to this. All of our leading protagonists now through both camera locations, so it's just who comes out of those trees.
Oh my days! Have you thought about what these guys are thinking now? You know,
about the approaches.
Yeah,
we spoke to them earlier, both of us, didn't we? And Oshan seemed visibly nervous to me. Didn't want to talk stage times.
Yeah, totally. Very different attitude from Oshan today from the other 4 days. He hated the first stage this morning, and Marty was like, I don't know what's wrong with him. What's wrong with the lad? You know, so
giving me the job of getting stage times, and he was not happy to be asked about his stage time. He didn't know. I'm not looking at stage times. I'm just getting through today.
You know, and just think how many events Oshan's done. Just think of the pressure that Oshan's been under in the past throughout his entire rallying career. You know, British Rally Championship titles and the likes of. I think that really shows how much this means to him as well. I think it must be all this pent-up time. You know, it's been so close so many times as well. We've been here before. History you know, will it repeat? He's hoping not, obviously, but you know,
so much into this, and so have Wales Motorsport as well, haven't they? As well as Carpet, all the teams have stepped their game up this year. It's been a team's game in 2025 as much as a driver and co-driver's game, hasn't it?
Yeah, totally, and that just goes to show what it means to everybody as well. You know, whole seasons are put on hold to do this one rally. You know, entire teams are actually built around this rally. You have to think about that. You know, they rise from the ashes just to do this one rally. It means so much to so many people, and you can see that by the amount of crowds that are here behind us as well. It's a fantastic atmosphere. It's just great. It gives you goosebumps.
It does. It's tangible. For those not here, we can share a lot in the live coverage. We can give you the sound, the sight, the spectacle, but we can't bring you two things: the smell or the feel of energy that you have in moments like this. We were talking about approach though. Matt Edwards said earlier he was going to go flat out because he wants that podium position now after working hard all week. His sights of winning the rally had long since gone, but he wants that podium. Whereas Jason Pritchard, in a bit of a no man's land, he said to me, no, I'm not going to push. Luck's got to do its thing now.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, you know, we were all day 1 and 2 thinking, oh, it's a long game, it's a long game, it's a long game. You can see those that have really played the long game, like Jason, like the Ben Friends. We know that Jason is more than capable to set really good stage times, but he's just ate that back a bit. And he's 8th now, and 8 minutes down or something like that. So that just elevates the pace that the likes of Marty and Oshin and Paul have been on as well. And you just have to really appreciate how much they have been on the money this week.
Even Marty, who he plays the long game, he manages this event and he's very good at doing that. We've seen it before, but coming into this one, he was flat out. He's had so many moments in that BMW. I've seen so many fan videos sent in to us where he's spun it around. Same for Mark in the CR7. It's mad. It's been ferocious.
Yeah, he will be the first to tell you he was the slowest driver in 2023 to win the R.A.C. rally. He has said that himself. But
that's what rallying is about, isn't it? Win at the lowest speed.
Of course, the lowest risk. Potentially, you know, okay, conditions can dictate that sometimes.
But we're back to that with the endurance element of this. It's no sprint like we get. I mean, we do have sprint rallying nowadays, don't we? Right up to the WRC, so that's not a criticism of British rallying. It's all sprint rallying. This is what rallying used to be regularly.
Yeah, and I'm quite glad we don't do this all the time, though, aren't you, mate? I mean, to be honest, you know, it's really tough for everybody. But for the preparation that everybody's had to put into this, and you see the pace that Oshin and Paul are on, trading seconds, absolute seconds across the entire weekend. It just blows my mind. It really does, and I can hear a BDA in the distance.
I can as well. We're just moments away from our first escort coming into the finish here, and we are expecting Oshin Price and Dale Furness to burst out of those trees and for a bit of noise to erupt here at the finish. They're through the stop boards at Wales Motorsport. Black and white car has put a shift in. I'll tell you what though, he's been caught in the stage, so Oshin Price, Dale Furness are through. They have reached the finish of the 2025 Roger Albert Clark Rally. We're all going to be scrambling for times. I'm going to give Oshin a bit of space here. Greg McKnight, who has taken a hell of a lot of time out in there. He has been on a charge, comes through into the finish. Oshin thinks he's done it. You wouldn't bet against it at this point. Colin Heppenstall gets the first word. Fittingly so, on FaceTime with Nicola there, with Oshin. I'll let you hop out first, shall I? The tyres are smoking. I'm not sure that was the fastest stage Oshin will ever have driven in his life, but I reckon that's probably the most important. Oshin Price and Dale Furness climb aloft their Wales Motorsport Mark II Escort. They are pretty sure they've done it, as are we. They are provisional winners of the 2025 Roger Albert Clark Rally as James Williams passes them a Welsh flag to hold aloft. Oshin Price and Dale Furness are your Roger Albert Clark Rally winners, and when they've enjoyed that moment and got plenty of photos, I'm going to let Oshin hop back down and he's going to tell me how much that means. I can see tears in your eyes and that's making me quite emotional as well.
Yeah, it's 4 years in the making really. Monkey's off my back now finally, and just a big thanks to the Wales Motorsport team. You know, this project came together about 12 months ago, and we both had the same sort of bad luck in the past, and you know, we've combined it and we've made it happen. So it's big thanks to them, really. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And the only thing we've had to put on the car is fuel and brake pads, and that's it. So just a testament to the car.
Just describe how it feels. How are you feeling now?
I don't know, I'm just a bit emotional, to be honest. It's been a roller coaster. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, but no, we never gave up, we persevered, and yeah, glad to be here at the end, that's for sure.
It's been a tough week, but I have to ask, here as the winner of the Roger Albert Clark Rally, did you find time to enjoy yourself?
It was pretty difficult at times, you know, snow and ice, and I think it's been a tough rally, majority running in snow and ice, so no, happy just to get through and finally tick that all-important box.
There's someone very important that you need to see right now. Mrs. Price here to congratulate her winner. Dale, I'm going to speak to our winning co-driver. I can see the smile on your face. He is very emotional. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, it was quite difficult to keep calling. You know, when you're within a mile or two from the end, it's like even if you have a puncher now, it's okay. You know, he hasn't passed us or anything, so we knew we got it. But yeah, try not to break up was just the whole tension of the whole week, to be honest. And the
noises on the car, every noise.
We just kept calm, and yeah, over the moon. It's yeah.
I bet that wasn't the fastest stage you've ever driven.
No, it wasn't, but yeah, definitely one of the longest. And yeah, no.
What did he say to you going into this?
I think we just both knew what we needed to do, and yeah, you know, we've got to thank everyone, you know, and awesome drive, and we've had the best package with the, you know, with the car, the team, and the boys working with us. It's been spot on. So thanks to all them as well.
Congratulations, you are winners of the Roger Albert Clark. I'm going to grab a quick word with Hannah because family is so important in these motions, in these moments. He is so emotional. How are you?
Yeah, I'm so relieved because I just felt since the beginning, I just felt like he deserved to win this year so much. Come so close twice before, and it's just such a team effort. The car that Meiron and the team have built, you know, all the family are here. My dad's been so hands-on with helping as well, and yeah, it's just fantastic. It's off the bucket list, you know. Is it, or
is he going to go for number 2?
Oh God knows, Paul. I have no idea, but it's what dreams are made of. He's dreamt of this, and I'm just so thrilled for him. He deserves it so much.
Lovely words, and I'm quite emotional for them as well, but it's what dreams are made of, says Hannah. Mrs. Price, understandably emotional and proud. Well, you pushed hard through there. I haven't seen any times just yet. Have you seen times? Third. You've got it. Third. You've got 3rd place on the Roger Albert Clark Rally, Greg. You said to me earlier in the week, you said, I've kind of got the Open Rally lead now. I want to go for a decent top 10 position. Is this what you had in mind?
No, not at all. No, I just thought if I could get anywhere near the top 10, it would just be unbelievable. But what a result this is! A dream come true. This, unreal.
I'm so made up for you. I know just how much this must mean, but just tell me how you approached that stage.
Absolutely max attack. We're off the road twice in there. I gave that my absolute everything.
Is there a feeling like this in the world?
No, that was unreal. I'm just so lucky to get to the end because we had a huge moment. That'll be a good watch in the end car anyway.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing the in car, but congratulations, 3rd place on the R.A.C. And this man has absolutely fought like hell this week. I know it's not victory, but what a fight and what a result.
Yeah, listen, I tried my best. Just it didn't play with me just with my eyesight and night, like, but I gave it my all, and where it was good, like. So listen, fair play to the boys. Oisin and Dale won it, like, and they deserved to win it, like.
One of my moments, one of my moments of the rally was Riccarton, when you managed to overhaul a 41-second deficit. There was I doing the rally presenter thing at the beginning saying, well, he's not going to do anything on merit here, and surely you did, and at that point it looked like it could go either way.
Well, it was the motocross skills come in there, reading the lines. I used to race the bikes, and I think that's where generally that's where it come from.
Paul, thank you for entertaining us this week. Paul's going to move his car up in the finish here. Just want to grab a quick word with our 3-time British Rally champion. Matt, you must have pushed like hell through there.
Yeah, we had a real good rhythm, probably the best rhythm we found all weekend, really, and yeah, just kept pushing. You know, we owe it to the team to keep. You know, they've had such support for us all weekend, and you know, they didn't give up, so we didn't give up, and you know, Jess has been great at home on the socials, and the support throughout, despite the adversity, has been amazing. So we just did the Matt Edwards thing and just kept pushing till the end.
Yeah, and do you know what? You said you were going to do that from the off, and you haven't had the best look. But when we've seen you and everything's gone well, you have absolutely had your foot on the mat.
Yeah. The car's been brilliant. So just really enjoyed the car, and the experience has been amazing. Okay, there's probably some operational things the event needs to correct,
we need to
improve it.
We need to get the car moving now. Matt Edwards, who fought like hell to get on the podium here. You see Paul Barrett and Gordon Noble there celebrating their second place, and rightly so. Hard fought and gave us a real battle. Going to get a really quick word with Gordon here. I know they're quickly going to have a photo, and then we will have a word. It's fine. Don't worry. In your time, it's such a moment this for everybody. To actually come through and to be part of this is quite a thing. It's quite a thing indeed. The crowd here, the energy, the emotion. Gordon, tell me what that means.
It's fabulous. It's been 6 years' work for us. This is our fourth time here. First time we finished, to get to the end is fabulous. It's not just a week's work. This is about 3 years' work to try and make it happen. With the car to be rebuilt, the team here around us. Without them, certainly nothing would happen. And it's a fabulous feeling. Would like to win, but we weren't just fast enough. But sure, we're here. We're delighted, and we'll live with this for a while. We'll have a beer tonight maybe and see what happens from there.
That beer will taste good tonight. Paul, I said to Paul, one of my moments of the rally was in Riccarton on Saturday when you guys overhauled that big deficit to lead the event. It looked like it could go either way.
Yeah, that was difficult. I think Paul has a good touch for reading the sort of grip levels and things like that, and we got away well with there. The notes worked, and he listened, and the grip levels came, and we got a good effort, and that was fabulous to do that. But we weren't able to match that then on last night, whenever it got foggy and dusk and things like that. So it's good. It's fabulous to be here. The car is perfect. There's no issues. And again, thank you to the team behind us for keeping it like that. So fabulous feeling, I must say.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for what has been an absolutely epic fight, hasn't it? You can see the rest of the crews coming into the finish here, all of whom have given us such entertainment, and it has been, well, an epic 5 days on the Roger Albert Clark Rally. We'll have one final R.A.C. rally report this evening, and now we've got to figure out what on earth we say to sum up what has been a very emotional, very energy-packed and very memorable Roger Albert Clark. I'm going to get a bit more reaction from a few of our crews once the cars get a bit closer. I can't get too far away from our satellite van, actually. Otherwise, I would take a wander down and speak to Mark Higgins, Dan Mennell, and a few of the other guys gathering just out of your sight at the minute. But I will do, and we'll get their reaction in just a moment. I'm just soaking up the atmosphere here down at the finish. The emotion as Ocean got out of the car with tears in his eyes was quite emotional for all of us as well, actually. It was one of those moments you know that you'll remember where you were when that happened, and we'll be talking about it for some time to come. Just a reminder that all the results we're talking about here are provisional. The organisers are going to have the unenviable task of sifting through time cards and ensuring that everything that we quote in press releases and in the headlines is true and is accurate. So everything that we talk about now is provisional, but you know how that works. Diverick James, Emir Jones celebrate 5th place on the Roger Albert Clark Rally, the UK's biggest rally, perhaps Europe's biggest rally, and the whole world has been watching. One of the hardest working drives, I think, of the week. You have not stopped, have you?
No, it's been difficult from start to finish. We've thrown absolutely everything. From one day feels like you're starting another event, from ice to rain to, yeah, it's definitely what it's all about anyway. Very challenging.
Any highlights as we get here to the finish that stand out?
I think just getting round it's an achievement in its own, in it, you know what I mean? There's so many you can even think about. It'll probably take a day or two to recover and remember most of them, but no, just happy to be here. And
top 5 on the UK's biggest rally, one we'll be talking about for a long time to come.
Yeah, that's great. We'll see if we can get you in top 5 on the Kilwendeg, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah, you'll be building on this next time, right, in 2 years?
Yeah, well, we'll see. We came a long way. We had a drive, be honest, the competition this year was a lot more fierce than last time. We had 4th last time round, and yeah, that came pretty straightforward, but the competition has been fierce for sure.
Congrats, Divrig, has been brilliant to watch that adventure unfold. I'm just going to squeeze in here. Man, what a week. Can you sum it up for me, Dan?
Wild. Mint, absolutely brilliant. Everybody's just bent over backwards, done everything, and it's mint. Absolutely brilliant, thank you.
Dan's going to have his moment. And Matt Cotton will get the photos for the Roger Albert Clark press releases. Dan Mennell and John Roberts climb and love their car. Meanwhile, I'm going to speak to our 3-time British Rally champion, someone who I know you have all absolutely adored seeing on these stages in this car. Mark, you have at times astonished us with how fast this thing can go, and I know you've had some moments of your own. The big smile when you got the fastest time said it all, but I know it's not victory, that would be nice, but a top 10 here on the R.A.C. in the TR7 V8.
Yeah, I think the big thing is the car really hasn't missed a beat. We've had a couple of... it's not missed a beat. We had to change an axle just then because a wheel stud broke.
But that's maintenance, isn't it? That's management.
Exactly. So, all credit to Dave and all the boys that have done a fantastic job. Everybody's said this car will never get to the end. And, we've proved them wrong, and Dave's proved them wrong all the time we've driven it. But I've loved it. It's been great. I've made a few cock-ups on this rally, but we've had some great skids on the way and some great spectators enjoying it as well. So, it's all good.
Brilliant to see Mark Higgins and Carl Williamson out in the TR7 V8. As he said, they've proved a few people wrong, but do you know what? There are more British Leyland, David Appleby Engineering re-engineered TR7 V8 jackets in the forest these days than there ever were in my lifetime, because of what this team has achieved with this car. The stud on the boot that has held the spare wheel all week has probably done more work than part of most rally cars. But what a moment to see 3-time British Rally champion Mark Higgins with Carl Williamson, David Appleby Engineering on the back of their Triumph race suits. The tartan door card on the TR7 V8 is quite a sight. I'm just going to quickly run round and get a really quick word with Mark. Just very quickly before you go, sum that up.
Phenomenal. Best seat in the house.
There are more jackets with British Leyland on the forest than I've ever seen in my lifetime. That's thanks to you guys.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's like the Rally Art Subaru jackets, but it's the only one that stood out on this rally, wasn't it? Well done.
Thanks, Go. Carl, an X-Works co-driver in his own right, alongside Mark Higgins. I wonder if we'll finally get a word with Mr. Ford. You have pushed hard. You have been entertaining, but you haven't had the best of luck this week.
No, we got stuck in the ice. It is what it is. We lost 15 minutes or something, but apart from that, we'd have been top 5. So yeah, happy enough. It's been a good weekend. Big thanks to Hoosier. Nice to see a different brand out. So yeah, hopefully we'll come up back
in the top 10 with that pace to be on a different tyre as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll come back in 2 years and see how we get on. So yeah, should be good.
There you go. There's a signal of intent from James Ford and Neil Shanks. They're going to be back in a couple of years' time. You can see the damage on the front wing of that Escort from the moment that he talked about. We'll just let Jason Pritchard and Phil Clark move up as Ian Pritchard comes through the arch. Proud of his boy, I am sure. I'm just going to get a very quick word. Jason, I know it's been a tough week for you, and I know you've managed this event from start to finish. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's nice to see the finish board here then, and obviously a nice long one to finish the rally on. It was nice flow in there. It was
yeah, I'm kind of wishing the rally was starting now. We've had a bit of seat time and getting into the car a bit and back into the gravel, and conditions are consistent now. So yeah, it wasn't the best way to start the rally after 2 years off the gravel. July was the last time I drove a rally car and had a big crash. So yeah, it took a bit of getting into, and yeah, we got there eventually.
Did, and Phil's out of breath. You guys have been working hard in there. The North Road Garage team have done themselves proud this week on the Roger Albert Clark Rally. It wasn't the result that Jason came for, clearly. We know that. But take nothing away. That is still some result. David Henderson has had an interesting week. I think he would agree that was a good way to describe it. I watched some in-car with David earlier in the week from Tommy's Fell, and oh my God, if that was top 6 pace. David, you've been pushing hard this week. It's been a real learning curve for you, actually, hasn't it?
Oh, it has. It's quite an experience. I think the rally's 2 days too long. I was broken at day 3 and a little gap in the middle. So, no, it's good. I'd be keen to do some more of it, but it's hard for an old man.
But you're smiling, you're at the finish, and that ultimately is what everyone wants from this.
Yeah, I've never done I don't think anyone's done a stage as long as that, and I got stuck into it. I didn't treat it like the last stage of the rally. I treated it like the first one, really. So,
well, after seeing Tommy's Fell the other day, I'm looking forward to seeing the in-car David Henderson, Chris Lees, who have had an interesting week, that is for sure. Now, a man who has gathered a crowd around his Volvo 262 whenever he's been pulling in, and a man who has captured our hearts as well as our imaginations with this Volvo this week. I think you've opened a new chapter in British rallying, Arne, because I think there are quite a few people looking secondly at a Volvo after what you've done this week. How do you feel?
I get so emotional. Maybe I couldn't speak, but I would like to thank my whole team, Rådström Motorsport, and my family, everyone who support us for this. My boy dream come true when we reach top 10. So it's unbelievable. Yes, it's crazy.
You're making me emotional. What you have done this week, and the bold claim you made at the start of the week, to be putting top 4 times in the snow and the ice, and the whole world has been watching. You've changed British rallying, British historic rallying forever.
Yeah, maybe, I hope so, but that's how we drive. So it's been very difficult from the beginning with ice and snow and fog and darkness and so on, but we make it.
Well done doesn't seem enough, so thank you on behalf of everybody who's enjoyed having you here this week.
And I must say thank you to all marshals for this rally. They have been fantastic. Great job for everyone.
Fantastic. Well done, Arne Radstrom. Got me all emotional there. Bex, what a week.
I mean, you could not write this. I mean, the Roger Albert Clark always provides the entertainment and it brings drama, but this week has just been fantastic.
I think even with Ocean being so solid going into this final stage, with less in the way of jeopardy than we're used to, perhaps, even with the emotion at the end there, that didn't take away from it, did it? Because the emotion and the drama as he came through the finish, he's waited so long for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I am thrilled. I mean, I am thrilled for anybody that wins the Roger Albert Clark, but for Ocean, coming here again to try, and the camaraderie between him and Paul Barrett this whole week, they're real friends, but they've come here to race, and that's
what I love is he's nailed his colours to the mast from the off. He said, "This is my campaign. I want to win the Roger." When he came first out in that Escort, we saw him at BCRDA round, and he said, "I'm here to win the Roger Albert Clark Rally."
And I am thrilled, and I know Martin and all the family were actually in stage watching, so there'll be some tears tonight, but really, really pleased for them, and can't knock Greg McKnight. I mean, that last stage, I cannot believe it. I want to watch that in car.
I believe we saw lights coming through.
I know, and he caught Paul Barrett, took him a minute quicker. I'm mind blown.
Yeah, we've certainly set some new precedents this week, and I think we're going to see some stars in the making from this year's Roger Albert Clark Rally. That is it for our live broadcast of this final stage. I hope you will agree we brought you drama theatre to the max this week on the Roger Albert Clark Rally, but it all came down to 37.5 miles through killer Kielder. It has claimed its victims yet again, as it always does, but how nice to end on a unanimous round of applause and a cheer for our Swedish Chargers. Wow, that Volvo is going to take some reflecting on, isn't it? Thank you for tuning in this week. We'll see you tonight for the R.A.C. rally report for one last time.